Today for this podcast, we have invited Dr. Wilma Bulkin Siegel, a retired oncologist and one of the best watercolor artists in the United States, who in collaboration with Dr. David Spangler, a former director of Interdisciplinary Arts Master's Program, and Diana Poole Silvagni, clinical assistant professor, have created Wilma'S Smart Salons. What are smart salons? A smart salon is a gathering of people under the roof of an inspiring host, held partly to amuse one another and partly to refine the taste and increase the knowledge of the participants through conversation. These gatherings often consciously followed Horace's definition of the aims of poetry, either to please or to educate. The first salons can be traced to the early 17th century, when French aristocrat Madame Catherine de Rambouillet's salon room became an intellectual hub for the Parisian intelligentsia to discuss social, political, artistic, and literary topics. With us now, Dr. Wilma Bulkin Siegel.
Why did you decide to do smart salons?
I want people to have mutual respect for each other and a collaboration of ideas that are creative and to build a better community, perhaps. Yeah. I think it's truly a group understanding of each other for what I call veneration of each other, because we each person has had experience in life, and they should be sharing their expertise. Expertise is something that is very hard to get to, and expertise is something we should strive to in our culture. We seem to throw away history so much, and history is such an important way to teach us about living and future living, because you can only learn from our mistakes to make things better. And I think discussion helps that. I don't know whether it's a debate that I want. I don't want a debate. I don't want each individual to say they are the best, but I want there to be some kind of a aha moment for each person that they can set up from a discussion of others that they respect, a standard of good living and a standard of joy for each other. I think when we do that as a group and we learn from each other what respect is of each other and what they feel is their highest standards of trying to have learned about a subject or whatever it is, that others should benefit, and not, you can't dictate, you don't dictate, but it is all about maybe seeking truth about humanity.
What do you want to achieve?
I think that the major thing that we get out of a good salon is joy and the wonder of this very special brain we have, and that is that our brain can think. I want people to think. I want them to question. I want them to question others so they can understand themselves, because that's really what empathy is. So I'm hoping that salons will help bring about more empathy and more compassion. And you have to ask the questions, what is empathy and what is compassion? I have the feeling that compassion, I don't really know the answer of that, but maybe compassion is the process of knowing, and empathy is the process of doing. It's a stimulus of asking questions of yourself and others to seek truth for the future.
Yeah. How do you choose the topic of the Smart Salon for discussion?
The way I get topics is primarily major questions I ask about life, not just acceptance, but I have to question perhaps why I do things. And I question it all the time. Well, my actions. My actions speak louder than words, so I want to put words into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me, but it isn't about me because I think it's about us. I have that problem inside of me. I have to figure out what is us and what is me. And what it is that the questions I ask relate to my own ego, and I want to get past the ego into what it is in society, what it is about the human being, what it is in the world, what it is in the universe. If I can get into the universe, then I'm really happy. But, it's really within myself, too, that I'm asking questions about why. It's always why. I mean, I go back to my childhood, and that's all I ever did is ask my father, because he was the one that had the knowledge. And my mother had the knowledge, but she had a personal knowledge. My father had a worldly knowledge. And I wanted to know what the world was about. And I keep asking the same questions. Why am I here? I haven't found that out yet. Why do I ask such questions? I think that's part of the human brain. I mean, we're lucky to have that part of us, to be able to question the world beyond ourselves. We say, do animals do that? I have a feeling they do, having lived with dogs and cats and what have you, in a very superficial way, but we have a very deep way, and I don't know what that's about. And it's much more of maybe a spiritual thing that's there, why we do it. I haven't any answer for it, why we keep questioning.
But to do this alone, you need to be...
with others.
You have to be sensitive, you have to be smart, you have to be... It's not a thing for everybody. And why women?
Yeah, why is that? Since the 17th century, the smart salons have been guided mostly by women.
I asked the expert, I asked him, and he said, well, it's, women, most of the women that were doing this in the French Age of Enlightenment were women that were very sexy and they wanted to flirt. It's about flirting. Mm. And flirting is you're attracting others all the time. And I do that. I really do. And women do that because they're social beings. Men are out to fight for food, and women are the gatherers. And the gatherers are, they're the mothers, the caregivers, the whole bit. And so it's a natural thing for a woman. I think it's something feminine that we're born with. Each person has a feminine and a masculine side, but I don't know what the hormones do to us in our brain, but that's what it's about. And as I said before, yesterday I said, to me, creativity, women are creative, men are too. You can't have a human being without a male and female together. So that's the empathy part of it. It's it together. And each side attracts each other. And it's a sexual, the sexual part of it is what is being the fire that makes it happen. And it's something in the brain that does it, I believe. I think it's the most sexual organ we have. And sexuality is for creation. And the brain is doing the driving force in creativity. And women want to be creative. They want to have babies. And so leadership women want to have creativity. They're leading the way for creativity. And they're able to do it through their social instincts that men have diminished in their activities through the ages. The male has diminished. He's out there fighting for helping to have a family survive. It's changing today, and we're getting much more equality on both halves of that. Maybe the male is attracting more for the female than the female trying to attract for the male. Now, I can't answer what's happening in that human brain, but it's all about creativity. It's a little crazy what I said, but I think it's almost there. I don't even know why I want to do it. I don't know why I want to do it.
You want answers.
The ability I have to learn. I'm sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a great way to learn because of that why all the time. And people don't do that.
How do you teach that?
I don't know that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of energy to get others to think.
Mm-hmm.
Your question is, what is the audience?
No, and what do you want to achieve? That is what you want.
Yeah,
so
but
people
no.
can
I would love to achieve, the major thing I want is respect, empathy, compassion, caring about others, and thinking that there is mutual respect, no bigotry, no judgment, but understanding and compassion is the necessary part of it. Is that creative? I don't know.
Domacraw, director of Fat Village, said smart salons are the conversation of centuries that focuses on a dialogue for those of us who are trying to understand the secrets of true humanity. The salon is our forum to ask and understand the why.